All right, I'm in the middle of replacing the infamous faulty sunroof cover. Mine stopped rolling up and was hanging down when I tried to open it up. I just got the original one out. I'm about to put the new one in, and I figured I'd kind of show you how I did it. Just thought it might be helpful to anyone else who tries to do this on their own. This is the old one that I just took out. This is the new one that I'm about to put in. I did not buy the Ford one. I bought a cheap knockoff eBay one. It was like a little over $100, I think. This one doesn't appear to be a Ford part, so this might not be the first time this was done in my car. But first thing I did was remove the rear handles in the back seat, second row. And I removed the second row reading lights and the two hooks from the headliner. Then I removed the visors and the little hooks for the visors right here. And then the grab handle for the passenger seat. There and there are the handles that I removed. And then I removed the visors, the hooks for the visors. These little cables hanging down that I disconnected when I pulled them out. Removed the reading lights and the hooks from both sides, and the reading lights also have a little connector that you disconnect when you pull those out. And then the last thing is the grab handle in the passenger seat. You remove all that. So the next thing you got to do is partially remove all of the pillar trim. So you can see the two front pillars. I popped them out, but I didn't fully remove them. I just popped out the front so that the headliner can come down a little bit. Here, these ones were probably the trickiest ones because you have to grab the lower piece and pull this out. There's a couple clips, pop that out, and then down in here there's like a 10mm bolt that you got to get a socket in there and pull that bolt out so that the bottom of this piece will unclip, and then it'll drop out like that. Same thing over here. So you can see these clips right here. Pop those out of the clips, and then there's a bolt. When it's up in place, you'll see it. It's like right down here. There's a bolt. Pull that out, and then you can kind of just pop it out of place. And then for these ones back here, I had to pop this lower piece out. There's a couple clips down here that you pull this piece out, and then that allows you to get this piece loose. I didn't fully remove that one either. I popped out the top and pulled it over to the side so you can get the headliner down. Same thing over here. This lower piece, grab it like right here, pull it out, pop it out of the clips, and then that allows you to get to some lower clips down here on this piece that you can pop out, and then you pull out the top of it, lay it down like this. The two pillars in the very back are the only two that I fully removed because I started pulling the headliner down from the back, and I just wanted those to be completely out of the way so that I could pull down on it from back here. Those were a little tricky because of these clips that go in up at the top. These metal things gave me some problems pulling out. I think it's because they've been pulled out before and they were like bent up, because this side seemed to come out pretty easily, but then this side, like this one, was all messed up for some reason. And then again, there's connectors. You disconnect the speakers that are on these trim pieces. And once you have all the pillar trim popped out, I just kind of grabbed the headliner from the back here and just yanked it down. It really didn't even take that much force. It popped out. This piece here, it was right here. These are the pieces that are like glued to the headliner. This one, like the glue tore out when I pulled it down. This one stayed, and it just popped out of the thing that the clips pop into. Once these are disconnected, the rest of it is just magnets. Yeah, just from the back, yanked it, got the back released, and then I moved up around the sunroof and I grabbed it like here and yanked down. It pretty much just popped free because you can see these magnets here are the only things holding it up in place other than those clips in the back. There's magnets all around, and magnets go all the way up to the front as well. I didn't fully drop the headliner, but I got it pulled down just low enough to where I could get in there to work on this. You have to unbolt the rear piece of glass here, and there's 3 Torx screws, but you take those out, 3 on each side, 3 over here, 3 over there. So you can see there's one of the screw holes. There's one. These right here are the screws that went in, that held that back glass in, 3 on each side. Pulled those out. I turned on the ignition and I opened up the sunroof just a few inches. You can see it's open just a little bit right here. Opened that up a little bit before I started moving that back piece. And then I kind of from inside pushed up on this piece of glass and just pushed it forward to give me some space here so that I could get into this area where the shade is. So I just kind of very carefully slid the glass forward, like, I don't know, 6 inches. And then probably one of the trickiest parts, this whole frame that goes around the whole sunroof, there's these 10mm bolts all around it. They're up here in the front. There's one. Yeah, there's one. Then there's several along the sides. I loosened the front ones and the side ones, and then there's one behind here that was kind of a pain to get to. I loosened that, but then all the rest of them I removed. So there's one there, one right around there. So yeah, I removed that one and then the 2 back ones over here on each side so that I could drop this frame piece a little bit to get into there where the shade was. Right in there, you can see this right here is where the little button end of the shade pops in to this hole here. I just reached in with my finger from the other side of this hole. I just pushed and it's spring loaded, it pushes in, and then I was able to lift it out from this end on the driver's side. And then once that end's out, you can just grab it, and the other end, this end, the metal rod on the shade went into that hole. Once you have it out on that side, you just grab it, pull it out. So that's getting it out. Now I'm gonna work on putting the new one in and see how that goes. So one thing to know when you're installing this, this rod, this is kind of what has all the spring tension for rolling it up, and the new shade will most likely come pre-sprung. So you don't want to push it in like that, because once you do, that'll release it and it'll spin and it'll lose all that tension and you'll have to rewind it up. So don't press it in like that until you're ready to install it. Once it pops back out like that, it's like spring loaded, it'll lock, it won't spin when it's out. But once you press it in, it'll be able to spin. Just make sure when you're putting it in that you put this rod in to the hole up in the tray first, slide that into place, and then pop this other side in. And since this is also spring loaded, you kind of just push that in and then pop that into the hole that end goes in. And then once it kind of pops into place, it'll push this in when you kind of push it in there, and then that'll unlock it, and then it'll now be spring loaded. Yeah, once it gets into place, it's now spring loaded. Like if I let go of this, it's gonna spring load back. But what you do, you take this metal part right here and pull it down from underneath, and it's gonna pop right onto these right there and right there. These grooves right here on the end of this metal piece, you're gonna pull it out and you're gonna twist it around like this. These openings right here are gonna slide right onto that. I'll show you when it's up there in a second. So from the top here, you can see how the end of it slid right onto this right here, and I kind of rolled it up from underneath, flipped it over, and then it popped right in that way. You just slide it on there, same on the other side, and it's time to figure out the clips. And from what I can tell, they go onto this right there. I think that right there is what the clip snaps onto. So here on the old one, you'll see that at the very end, there's these little pockets here. It's folded over, and then there's these pockets here that the clips slide right into those little pockets. That, and then you get it up there, and then the clip slips onto that thing up at the top that I showed you that the clip clips into. I'm gonna try it now. All right, so I got the clips on. I just want to show you how I did it really quick. So I pulled this piece off so that I could get the clips into the little slots on the cover like I showed you on the old one. So pull it off. While you're holding it, don't let go of it because it'll roll up if you do. So hold it, get the clips into the little slots in the fabric. Then you can roll it back around and stick this metal piece back on. The clips, you're just gonna slide them on until the little kind of oval shaped piece snaps into the hole in the clip. I kind of just slid it right on that way. And there's that side. And then real quick, I'm gonna show you what it looks like from down here. You can see once the clips are in, the fabric goes into this groove right here on the track, and it should look like that. And on the other side, same thing. There's a groove here, the fabric is in. Now when it closes, it should stay in that groove. It seems to be holding the fabric pretty tight. I tested the shade and it closes and opens without sagging anymore, and it looks decent. So now we're gonna start putting it back together and see how it looks. First thing I'm gonna do is put in the 3 bolts here, here, and here on each side, there and there, that hold this track into place. And then I'm gonna go around and tighten up all the rest of them. I think there's 3 or 4 more on each side, and then 2 up on the front. There's one there. Tighten all those up. And then I'll slide this piece of glass back into place. Put the 3 screws on each side back in that hold it in place. All right, it's dark out now, so I'm gonna kind of speed this along and not show you the whole reassembly, but I rebolted the rear sunroof glass back into the frame, and then I went around and rebolted the frame back into the roof with the bolts all around the frame. Now I just have to put the headliner back in and do all the trim on the pillars, put that back in. It should be good to go. So one thing I wanted to show was with this, since only one of these came off on mine when I pulled the headliner, not both of them, I'm not gonna do the magnets. I'm just gonna glue this with some epoxy back in right here, try to line it up with where it was, and then try to just pop it back in. I did buy the magnets to try to do the magnet method. I was gonna glue them on there, but since I've only got one of them, I'm just gonna say forget it and just try to glue it into the headliner. All right, got the headliner back in and got all of my interior trim pieces put back in. I had a little bit of trouble with these ones back here not lining up properly. I still gotta try to fix that up. So here's the shade opening. Goes all the way back, now sagging. And it closes and everything seems to be pretty good. The only thing I've noticed with this one is it seems to not seal up right here as good as the factory one. I noticed this bar that runs through here is a little bit bent up, so maybe I need to try to bend that back down so that it's straight, because I can notice some light coming through here when I'm driving. But other than that, it all worked, and that's how it looks when it's done. Good luck to anybody who tries to do this themselves. It was a pretty good amount of work, but I guess it was worth it for the $2,000 to $3,000 that the dealer charges for it.